Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream this Sunday. I'm excited to get to the market. We definitely got some movement this week. Coming out of NFP week of last week, we're going to definitely have some rebound movements this week on what actually happened last week. Like I said, welcome you guys. I'm always excited when we get in the market. So, we got some really good opportunities to capitalize on this week. And so usually when we're coming out of NFP, for those who are new that don't really know, NFP is non-farm payroll. It usually happens the first Thursday and Friday of the month. And so coming out of that, we usually have a lot of CPI news and things like that. So we definitely got some pairs to capitalize on this week. All right. And like I said, if you guys have any pairs that you guys want to see marked up, please add those to the chat and we'll get to those first. Okay. And so, yeah, we'll definitely get to those first. So go ahead and please add them to the chat. We're going to probably get started in about 3 minutes or so. Give people enough time to log on. So we usually start about 2:05, things like that. Yeah, like I said, I'm excited about this week. We definitely got some opportunities this week to capitalize on. Hey, how you guys' week has been? You know, if you guys are on the chat, let me know how y'all trading week was last week. Mine was a little topsy-turvy. You know, last week, I started the week off literally with 3 L's. You know, I haven't had 3 L's consistently like that or consecutively like that in a long time. And so, you know, having those 3 L's, you know, I kind of stepped back from the market. Because for me, I believe that it was my mindset, you know, and that's like one of the main or most important things that you need to have when entering in the market. So like I said, I had those 3 L's close to the beginning of the week, and then I turned it around at the end of the week. I hit on gold like a 1 to 24 risk reward, which was amazing. And then I turned around and had, I believe, a 1 to 6 on EU, I think it was. So last week was actually, I ended it off really good. I actually recouped all of the losses that I lost because I lost like 3%, but then I gained like, you know, dang near 30% last week, which was huge. It was amazing. So one of the things that, you know, I like to always stress within this channel is risk management. You know what I'm saying? Because with those 3 L's, let's just say if I wasn't really using proper risk management, I could have easily blew my account if I just randomly took just random trades with random lot sizes. So proper risk management is one of the things that we always stress, you know, on this particular channel. So just remember proper risk management. It'll definitely help you in the long run because, capital preservation is the main thing. You always want to preserve your capital. You don't want to blow your capital in any kind of way. All right. Well, like I said, those who are on the chat, let me know how y'all week was last week. Mine was actually really good. All right, you guys, it's 2:05, so let's go ahead and get started. Y'all know how we always start. We usually always start, for those who are new, we always usually start with a word of prayer because I believe that God is the main source or the main reason that we have this resource that we can utilize to possibly become financially free and, you know, everything that we do. So let's go ahead and get it. Dear Lord, we want to thank you for this day, Lord. We bless your name, and Lord, I want to thank everybody who's under my voice on this particular channel and on this live today, Lord. I want to pray for their families. I want to pray for their health. Lord, I pray that this channel will continually be a resource and a tool that can possibly help somebody become financially free. You know, if this particular channel can help just one person, I'm grateful for that. And I do hope and pray that this channel will continue to add value to those who engage in it. Lord, I want to thank you and love you and praise you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right, y'all, let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. All right. So, looking at the news for the week, for those who are new to the channel, we usually like to look at Forex Factory. Forex Factory is what gives us our news, because the news that comes out, it affects the pairs that we trade. Okay, so this particular and news is considered as fundamental analysis. You have two different type of analysis. You have fundamental, which is news, and you have technical analysis, which is when we're marking up our charts and pairs and things of that nature. Okay, so looking at the news for this week, we can see Monday around London session, we got Chef at like 1:30 in the morning. It's going to be popping off. Ish, what's going on, my man? Good to see you, man. Glad you can join today, man. And like I said, before I get started, if you guys have any pairs that you want to see marked up, please put them in the chat and I'll get to those first. Okay. Like I was saying, on London session at 1:30 a.m. tomorrow, we got CPI on Chef. So for those who are trading any pairs with the Swiss franc, we're definitely going to see some movement within the market. Okay. We got Euro tomorrow morning. We got President Lagarde speaking. For those who trade Euro, you know, whenever he speaks, there's some movement. There's definitely some movement. We got USD news tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central. And then topping off the night for the Asian session, we got Australian dollar that's going to have some movement around 11:30 p.m. Okay. Tuesday, we have CAD at 9 a.m. Okay. And then we have AUD also during an Asian session. Asian session, we have 6:20 and we also have 8:30. So one of the things that you guys can see, just topping off the beginning of the week, AUD has movement on both of these days. So AUD is definitely going to have some movement. So for those who trade AUD USD, definitely be mindful, because you can have some big movements within the market. Okay. Going into Wednesday, we have CAD. So we have two back-to-back days with CAD. We got 9 a.m. on Tuesday and we got 9 a.m. on Wednesday. So CAD and AUD are going to be some hot topics or some hot pairs for this particular week. Just be mindful. Also, we have Chef. We have the Swiss franc as well during the London session on Wednesday. And then going into Thursday, we have USD news. We have unemployment claims. And then we have the Chinese yuan around 8:30 that night on Thursday. And then Chinese yuan as well. And Friday, we're going to end it off with CAD. So for me, the hot pair for the week is going to be CAD. It's going to be number one, and then probably AUD. Of course, not saying that we're not going to get movements on other pairs, but we trade CAD and AUD, you know, within the pairs that we trade. So we want to be mindful of those particular pairs. And because we have so much news on those two pairs, or on those two, on those two pairs, I'm going to actually set some news alerts, and I'm going to show you guys how we're going to do that as well. Okay. And just to reiterate again, if you guys have any pairs that you want to see marked up, please put them in the chat and we'll go ahead and get to them. All right. So the first pair we're going to start off with is EU. Okay. We're going to start off with EU, and we're going to walk through this one, starting with the daily time frame, and we're going to go all the way down to see exactly what we can see. Okay. So looking at this particular pair, we can see we were initially bullish on this particular pair from a daily perspective. As you guys can see, we got bullish momentum here. Price came down, gave us some small movements up in this area here. Hold on, wait a second. This is not a daily BOS. Actually, yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah, it is. Because if we look at these moves here, we can see that we have some impulses up in these areas here. Okay, let me make this a little bigger so everybody can see it. Okay, and then from there we had a break of structure in this area right over up in here. Okay, from a daily perspective. So we got a daily BOS. Okay, And then from there we can see price is pretty much just melted away in this area here. Not a lot of price action, but you know, kind of one big channel or trend for prices just going down. Okay, so let's focus on what price is right now from a daily perspective. And we can see down here, looking at price action, we have a bullish, bearish, bullish, in which price closed at. And I look at that because we have this candle here that kind of engulfed this candle here. So we can look at this big pattern here as a bullish, bearish, bullish. Okay, and basically what we're doing is we're marking this entire area up as a demand zone. We want to utilize this middle candle as our daily bullish, bearish, bullish. All right. And so one of the things we can see is that price is coming and actually retesting this particular demand zone. So one of the things I like to do, this is one of my favorite patterns to actually trade, the bullish, bearish, bullish. We can look at 50% of this particular demand zone here. And we can say, all right, we want to see if price can actually tap into 50% of this particular demand zone. And if we can get that tap, we can possibly look at price to continue to the upside. Okay. So now let's break it down to the 4 hour to kind of look at price action a little bit more. All right. So let's go ahead and mark up our trend for the 4 hour. That way we can pretty much see exactly what we're looking at. All right. So here's the lowest point. We can see that we're pretty much bearish and possibly had a break of structure somewhere. So let's make this a little bigger. All right. So this is our lowest point here. All right. And then let's see. Come up here. This is not a 2 candle pullback in this area here. So we don't want to look at that area. All right. So we can possibly look at this area here as our last lower high. This area here is a lower low. Let's see, lower low, lower high, lower low. I'm not looking at this area here because this is not, you know, this candle here that's giving us our high here. This is not more than a 2 candle pullback. Okay. And then from there, we want to look at this area up here. Okay. All right. So now in this area, we can see that we had a break of structure on the 4 hour here. All right. We had a 4 hour break of structure, and we can see that price is starting to come back and retest into this area. Okay. Into this demand zone. So we're currently in this demand zone currently right now. And a couple of things that we can see is we have an imbalance here, and we also have another demand zone in this area here. So we can mark this up as a 4 hour demand right here and kind of wait for price to kind of tap into this area, because we can see this 4 hour demand kind of correlates with the 50% area. Let's mark that 50% of daily OB. Okay. So we want to see if price can actually tap into this area before it kind of continues to the upside. Okay. So price right now on a 4 hour is showing us bullish momentum, because if you look down in this area here, we had a bullish, bearish, bullish. This candle engulfed this candle. Price came back, possibly retested 50% of this candle here. So let's take a look. We can see price came back, tapped into 50% of this demand zone here, and then price decided to shoot off. So we want to kind of see some of the same things. We want to see if price can tap 50% into this and possibly shoot off as well. Okay, so that's some of the things that we want to see. Let's go to the daily for a second. Okay, yeah, that's what we want to see. So price did actually tap within 50% of this candle, but we want to look at this demand zone. Okay, all right. So another thing that we can see as well, let's drop to the 1 hour and see what we can see. So on the 1 hour, we still kind of got some of the same things: bullish, bearish, bullish. Price came up, tapped into this area, and it decided to shoot off. However, I want to see something on the 2 hour for a second. Okay, 3 hour, 4 hour. Now on this 4 hour, we do have an imbalance in this area right here. So we want to be mindful of that as well, which is all within this 4 hour demand zone. So we can call this our H4 imbalance, okay? So ultimately we want to see price tap into this area before it kind of shoots off. So we're going to set an alert right before this this demand zone. We'll call this EU H4 demand, okay? That way when price taps into that area, we all can be notified. Let's find our situation here. Okay. All right, so let's drop it down to the 1 hour again. Okay. Let's drop down to the 15 minute to see what we can see on price action as well. So we pretty much have some of the same things. So on a 15 minute, we can see, you know, price gave us a downtrend, gave us a break of structure in this area here, and price is pretty much coming down, tapping into this demand zone. So when price come down to this area, we want to see price give us a break of structure on a smaller time frame and possibly go up to the upside. Okay. If we drop down to the 5 minute, you know what? Before we actually do that, let me see something. Let's utilize our Fibonacci tool to make sure that we know exactly what price is coming to. All right. So price actually is within our golden zone right now. And so with EU, it likes to test 50% within the golden zone. So we're fair game at this particular point for price to turn around. But we still want to be patient before we just kind of jump the gun. And so we drop down to the 5 minute. Some of the things we can see price action here as well on the 5 minute. Lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay? Lower high, and price gave us another lower low here. So what we can do is we can set another alert to say, okay, if price breaks this 5 minute area, we can possibly look for, you know, a retest and things like that. EU 5 minute BOS. Okay. All right. So we got a 5 minute BOS on this area right here. So if price give us a break, possibly retest, and a break of structure on a 1 minute to shoot to the upside, then we possibly can take this as a trade or entry or whatever. But ultimately, I want to see if price will come down to this area. That's what I want to see. And I want to see that break of structure happen down in this area. Okay. So that's pretty much what we have on EU. On EU, like I said, I'm looking for the market to go bullish because we got this break of structure. So that's what I'm looking at for EU. Okay. Let's look at USD CAD. So understanding that on the Canadian dollar, we got a lot of news this week. So one of the things that I want to do before I even start marking things off, I want to go to the 15 minute and I want to mark off the areas in which we're going to have news. Okay. Actually, I want to go to the 30 minute. Okay. So if we come back over here, we know that we have Canadian news at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. Okay. So if we go over to Tuesday, let's see, Tuesday at 9 a.m. And what we're going to do, we're going to utilize a vertical line. So if we come over to Tuesday about 9:30 right here. Okay, and we're going to make this a little light. And we'll say, hold on, before we do that, let's change this to like a blue for news. But I want it to be kind of light though. I don't want it to be super thick like that. That's cool right there. Okay. And then we'll label this as, let's see what this is. And That way we'll know exactly what this is. News. I don't want it to be so big. 9:30. Is that 9? Was that 9:30? No, 9 o'clock. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock. Now 9:30. There we go. 9 a.m. Okay. So we know that we have news at this particular point. Okay. Because like I said, there's a lot of news on CAD this week. So we want to make sure that we're covered. All right. So the next one, we have Wednesday at 9 a.m. as well. Okay. We'll just clone this and move this over to Wednesday at 9 a.m. right there. Okay. And then for Wednesday, we have two things going on. Okay. We have this and overnight rates. Okay. Additionally, on CAD, we have news on Friday. We got employment change and unemployment rates. 7:30 on Friday. Okay. We're gonna go all the way to Friday. There. 7:30. We're gonna go ahead and mark these two up as well. Employment change. And we have unemployment rates. Okay. Now, by doing this lets us know, let's make everything consistent. Move that down like that. This will let us know the points in which we have news on this particular pair. Like I said, because we have a lot of news on this pair, and CAD is one of the pairs that we trade, you know, we can set these up like that and we can set alerts. Okay. Now, one of the things that we can do is we can set our alerts 5 minutes prior. Okay. And by doing that, it'll let us kind of get ahead of the game to say, okay, the alert is 5. Let's do 5 minutes before that time. That way we can make sure that we can catch it, you know, in advance. So with that being said, let's see. We can come here and say, let's do, that's 8:45. How do I get 55? Right there, 8:55. So this alert here will happen 5 minutes prior. Now this one, let's see if it'll allow me to do it. It might not let me do this one on the 5 minute time frame. Okay. So I'm gonna move this back to 9 o'clock. Yeah. So we gotta wait until we kind of get a little closer because we won't be able to do it there. Okay. But at any rate, we can look at that as such. All right, so let's go ahead and mark this pair up now. Now, when we're looking at this, actually, I'm gonna hide the news for a second. That way it's not in my way. I'm gonna add these to a news group. News. And we're gonna hide these. All right, so now let's look at price action and see exactly what price is trying to achieve this particular week. All right. So one of the things we can see is CAD is almost in some sort of huge, massive consolidation, you know, and we can see their price is pretty much bouncing between these highs and lows and things like that. All right. And so one of the things that we did last week when we were marking this pair up is we marked some support and resistance zones. And so if you look at this here, I'm going to hide these two here. I'm going to hide these because these are some smaller zones. And I just wanted to put them out there just because you know, prices bouncing in between these areas, these key levels. And these key levels, we can see 1.38,000, 1.33,000. Okay. And so where price is right now, from a weekly perspective, that's where price is kind of bouncing through. All right. So now let's break it down to the daily, what we are on a daily. So these are daily and weekly zones, these huge, massive zones right there. But within this consolidation, we can still kind of trade because this zone is so big and massive. We can break it down and kind of trade and see exactly what we're looking for. All right. So from a daily perspective, one of the things that we can see is we can see that price came down, gave us some lower lows and lower highs, gave us a break of structure, price retested, and then on a smaller time frame, we're starting to get bullish momentum. All right. And so let's break it down to the 4 hour. That way we can actually see price action. Okay. So now on the 4 hour time frame, let's go ahead and mark up our highs and lows and also our directional trend. Okay. So right now, this is our high. All right. From there, this is our higher low. We got a higher high here. We got a higher low down in this area right here. All right. So here is our here's our structure in this area here. So now we can say right now we're currently working with this leg of structure. That way we always understand where we are inside the market. And this is a 4 hour trend. Okay. Now, with that being said, we can see the price came all the way down to this area, but it didn't quite break this low here. Okay. So let's actually look at price and see what we're doing. All right. Hold on 1 second, you guys. Let's see. Okay. So okay, on a 4 hour, can't really see any intimate price action, but one of the things that we can see, we have this huge unhealthy price action here, and we can see that we have a 4 hour supply zone in this area right here. Okay. H4 supply. All right. So now let's drop it down to the 1 hour. See exactly what we can see. So on the 1 hour time frame, we can see we have some peaks and valleys. We can see we got a low, we got a lower high, lower low, and things like that. However, on the 1 hour, we can see that this particular candle never broke this range here. So we want to kind of say, you know, it's not really giving us too much price action that we want on the 1 hour. So from there, we can possibly drop it down to the 30-minute or even the 15-minute to kind of see more intimate price action. So right now, on the 30-minute, we can see lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay. So we can see that right here, we had a break of structure. One minute break of structure. I'm sorry, not 1 minute. We can say 30-minute or 15-minute. Let's look at the 15-minute structure. Yeah, I actually like that a little better. 15-minute break of structure. Okay. Now, before we do that, let's go back to the hourly just to see. Okay, nothing. Let's look at the 45-minute, 30-minute. Okay. From a 30-minute perspective, we can see that we have bullish momentum. We had a bullish, bearish, bullish. Price came back, did a demand flip, which actually broke through this area here. However, when it broke through, you guys can see that we never got any bodies to close below this. So we had rejections in this area here. So that lets us know that this is a strong level of support here. Price came down, wicked into it, and decided to go to the upside. Okay, so one of the things that we can do in this area is we can notate this as a level of like support or whatever you want to call it. Let's say light gray box, because we can see that price never really wanted to break below this area here. You know, we have a little bit of support in this area. And with that being said, let's go ahead and go down to the 15-minute. So on a 15-minute time frame, we can see we got a demand zone in this area. And because we have this demand zone, we can actually remove this area here, because it don't make sense to have a demand and a support there. The demand can serve as both. And so in this area, we have this 15-minute demand followed by an imbalance in this area right here. "15-minute imbalance." All right, so this is a good area for price to tap into before it continues to the upside. Now, one of the things that we want to be mindful of though is, let me go ahead and go to the 4-hour for a second, is we know that down in this area, this is our lower low, our higher low on the 4-hour time frame. Okay, so we want to make sure that we know where we are within the market at all times. And also, one thing that I can see is that it's close to this key level here. It's close to this bank level that we have right here. All right, being that it's close to this bank level, we want to be mindful of that. Okay, and this right here is our 4-hour structure down here. So if it breaks through this demand level, then it possibly might, break through this, this higher low down here or this key level and continue to the downside. But I'm looking for price to actually come all the way up to this level here and kind of tap into the supply. Okay, so back at this 15-minute level here, I want to see price tap into this and possibly go to the upside, because right now we have a couple of supply areas. We have a supply here. All right, and we also have a supply in this area here, but I don't necessarily want to look at this portion here. Like I said, I'm looking for price to come down to this area before it continues to the upside. Now, because we have this retest, we want to make sure that we utilize our Fibonacci tool. We're going to take it from the swing low and the swing high to see exactly where we are within our retracement. And we can see that we are within our premium zone, and price can actually turn around at any given moment. Okay, so let's look at the 5-minute and see what price is doing. So right now on the 5-minute time frame, we're still well within our rights to continue to the downside, because right now, from a 5-minute perspective, we're looking at this here. We have a lower low here. We have a lower high. I'm sorry, right here, lower high, lower low, lower high. Okay, so until price breaks this, literally we're not looking for price to turn around. Now if price can break through this lower low, then of course we'll be looking at this as our high, and then we want to see price come down and possibly give us a breaker structure down in this area and then continue to the upside. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to set an alert as soon as price breaks this area right here. We'll say USD CAD breaks 5-minute BOS. No, I'm sorry. A COS, continuation of structure. That's how we want to look at that. All right. It breaks that. We want to see it come down to this particular demand level. All right. And I'm going to set an alert here too. USD CAD hits 15-minute POI. Okay. All right, there we go. All right, so that's what we have for USD CAD. So just to kind of, recap on USD CAD, we've set up our news alerts. Let me go ahead and add those back in. Oh, I need to make sure I set the alerts for our news. Where's the news? Here we go. All right, so we have some news alerts here because we have quite a bit of news going on. So we're gonna set our alerts on this particular news. That way we can be mindful of as to when it comes or when it happens. All right, so we're gonna set an alert here. This is USD CAD news alert. That's what I'll do. Yep, USD CAD news alert. All right, so we set an alert there. We'll do the same for the others as well. Well, let's actually put what it is. Yeah, I want to do that. Okay, so we'll do that. Save that. Add an alert here. This one is going to be USD CAD news. One more here. This one is unemployment change. I'll just do that. Unemployment rates. Let's just do that. All right, so we got our news alert set for USD CAD. Okay, so we're done with USD CAD. All right. Also, for those who are on, hey, if you guys have any pairs you want to see, go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll get to them. All right, so let's look at some other pairs as well. We have some pairs that's already marked up to kind of save on time. So if we're looking at GU, let's take a look at GU for a second. And right now, looking at GU, let's look at it from a 1 hour perspective. One of the things that we can see on GU is that we're currently bullish, okay? We have these peaks and valleys. And right now, our directional leg that we're focused on with GU is from an H1, a 1 hour time frame. And so right now, we can see price is currently giving us a retracement, and we're waiting for price to tap into this 1 hour demand zone and possibly come down to this 1 hour imbalance. Anything is fair game within this leg of structure, okay? And so if we look at our Fibonacci tool, we can see that price is actually within our golden zone right now. and price can turn around at any given moment if it wants to. But like I said, I do want to see it tap into this area. It don't have to, but that's what I would like to see, and possibly come a little lower. All right, so let's drop it down to the 15-minute and see exactly what we have on this particular level as well. We can see that we have an imbalance in this area here, and another 15-minute demand down in this area. And so I'll just go ahead and set an alert right here, right as it comes to this area here. GU hits H1 demand. All right, make sure this goes to our Discord. All right, so that's what we want to see right there. Okay, drop it to the 5-minute. We can see on the 5-minute time frame, we definitely have really good market structure. We have lower low, lower high, lower low. And so until price breaks this area right here, we're not necessarily looking for price to turn around or anything like that. 5-minute break of structure, but I want to see price come down a little bit lower before it actually continues to the upside. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much what we have on GU. You know, it was really clean market structure for this particular pair, so that's exactly what I want to see in hopes of price to achieve on this particular pair. All right, so let's go ahead and move over to AU. And like I said, for AU, we got a lot of news, so we want to kind of follow the same suit as to what we did on USD CAD. But let's go ahead and look at the overall big picture on this pair for right now. We can see, if we look at the daily on this particular pair, we can see that we're bearish from a daily perspective. Okay, we can see from a daily perspective, we can see price is giving us these impulses down to the downside. We can see price came up here, dropped like this, okay, like so. That's a daily structure. But if we drop it down to the 4-hour, let's look and see what we have. From a 4-hour perspective, we actually got a break of structure, okay? And so if you can see that we got structure as such. We got bearish momentum, then we had a break of structure in this area right here. And so price is starting to give us that turnaround as we speak. So this was a 1-hour and also a 4-hour break of structure. But either one of them, you know, we can look at it. Let's go ahead and just change it to a 4-hour. We can do that. Okay, 4-hour break of structure. Price came almost up to this area here and it started to trickle down. But we can see that price tapped into this imbalance right here. Oh, actually it didn't. It didn't quite get all the way up there yet. We have an imbalance right here that price was just a little bit shy of. However, let's drop down to the 3-hour just to see if price tapped into something there. Okay, this imbalance correlates with this 3-hour supply. Price still did not quite make it up there. Let's drop down to the 2-hour. Same holds true for the 2-hour as well. So price didn't quite get up to this area yet. And so we want to kind of see if price want to, you know, kind of make it up to that area. All right, drop down to the 1-hour. Same holds true. On a 1-hour, we can see we have price. Yeah, one big impulse. I don't really look at these as retracements because it's not really big enough. Like for example, this area here, even though we have 2 candles, this never really pulled outside of this range, so I'm not really looking at that. So for me, I want to see price come down, possibly go a little higher, tap into this area, then give us a break of structure to the downside. Okay, because ultimately on this particular pair, I want to see price come back down, possibly tap into either this bullish, bearish, bullish level here, or even this demand level here. But I want to see price give us a retracement and then shoot back up. One of the things that we possibly can do is catch the counter trend trade to come down for this retest. However, I want to see price come, like I said, I want to see price come up a little bit higher. So I'm going to set an alert up in this area here. AU hits, AU hits POI. I'll just say that. Okay. Let's make sure this goes into our Discord chat. And we also, like I said, we want to mark up news as well. Okay. So I want to see price tap into that area. All right. And later on in the week, we can set alerts down here. But right now, we're all the way up in this area. So I want to see price do that. We can also mark this demand level up right here, just so we'll understand and know when price decides to turn around. And then we can start to look at that. But right now, let's mark up the news. Let's go to the 30-minute and let's see. So AUD kind of pops off on Monday, 11 p.m. So let's look at that. All right, Monday, 11 p.m. at night. Let's see. I always mess that stuff up. Hold on. My military time is just not coming to me. 11 p.m. military time is what? 2,300 hours. Yeah, my brain not working right now, you guys. Monday, 23. $11:30 right there. Is that what it is? Yeah, 11:30. So what we have at 11:30 is the cash rate. All right. 11:30 p.m. cash rate and RBA rate statement. Okay. All right, we have that news there. And also AUD on Tuesday, we got 620 and we have 830. All right. Uh, 620. Let's see, 6 p.m. military time. Ain't showing me nothing. Oh, 1,800 hours. Okay. On Tuesday, 1,800 hours. All right, let me go to 20-minute right quick. That way I can do that as well. There we go, 1820. So this here is 620. And for AUD, we have this here. All right, and then we have more news at 8:30. Okay. And we're gonna go to 30-minute. And 18, 19, 20. All right, it's gonna be 20. Bam, right there. So it's gonna be 8:30. At 8:30, we have GDP. Okay. Okay, it's a little bunched together, but we understand what the situation is. All right. Any more AUD? Nope, that's pretty much it for AUD. Okay. We're gonna make sure we got alerts set for that. That way we understand when price will actually hit those areas. Let's go to the 5-minute and actually see if we can move this one at least 5 minutes away from this one. Right there. There we go. And we'll set alerts for those. But as you guys can see on AU, One of the things that we have on AU is price. It gave us the break of structure. We want to see it kind of retest. But like I said, I want to see if price can come up a little bit higher, tap into this imbalance and possibly this 4-hour supply before it kind of give us that retracement. And we can possibly catch a counter trend trade on that, okay? All right, so that's AU. For those who are just joining, if you guys like to see any pairs marked up, put it in the chat and we'll go ahead and get to it. All right, let's go to NZD Chef and kind of see what we're looking at. This one was already pretty much marked up as well. And you can see we have bullish momentum, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Actually, I missed this one here. Well, I mean, we were up in this area, so hey. We got a break of structure in this area right here. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the 15 minute. Let's see something for a second. It's looking a little crowded. Okay, so we did structure on the 1 hour. That's what we did. Okay, so we did structure on the 1 hour. So when the market closed, so right now, hold on, let's go ahead and do our directional trend. That way we know exactly where we are within the market. And this is a 1 hour, what we're looking at. Okay. So if we go to the 15 minute, one of the things that we can notice on the 15 minute, and this was a trade that we were possibly looking at last week, but we didn't, it never happened, and it possibly can happen. But as we can see on the 15 minute, we got higher high, higher low, higher high. Okay. Price gave us a 15 minute break of structure here. Okay. And we want to see price possibly come back, retest somewhere within this area before it drops to the downside. Okay. Now, if we utilize our Fibonacci tool from the top to the bottom, we can see right here was pretty much 50% within this golden zone. Okay. Now let's look at this trade in which I was looking at that possibly could have happened. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. If we drop to the 5 minute, I was looking at this almost like a redistribution for Wyckoff. However, it didn't necessarily give me everything that I was looking for. So I was just looking at it from that perspective. Because in this area, we did have a distro, but for this, I didn't necessarily want to look at it because I saw this order block here that hasn't been mitigated yet. So I believe price will possibly come up to this area before it goes all the way down to the downside. So for this particular trade, I'm actually going to remove this off because I don't want to have that on there as though it's going to be a trade that I'm going to take and possibly get blasted. Okay. But right now we can put market structure on here as to where price is right now from a 1 minute. Okay. And so I want to see what price is going to do. And I want to see how far it's going to come back and things like that. So I'm going to actually remove this alert. So on NZD Chef, I'm going to set an alert and we can see that we have an imbalance in this area here. So I want to see price come back to this area. Okay. And so I'm going to set an alert here. NZD Chef approaching POI. And so I'm a little unsure about what price might do. I don't know if it'll go higher or what it's going to do, but I'm going to set this alert and then we can kind of monitor it to see exactly what it's going to do within these areas here. Okay. All right. Like I said, for those who are on, if you want to see anything marked up, please put it in the chat. But we're going to go ahead and continue to our last pair, which is gold for right now. All right. Now, let's look at the daily for gold and see exactly where we are with everything that's going on. Okay. So with gold, we see that we had a daily break of structure, okay? And then let's see what price is going to retrace to. And so for gold, we did have our daily golden zone right here. If it would have tapped into the 2000 area, that would have been like 50% of where we were looking for it to come. But sometimes gold, got a mind of its own. She kind of do what she want to do. We got this daily supply up here that, would have been ideal for price to come back to. But like I said, it don't have to. All right. So let's drop to the 4 hour, and we can see from a 4 hour perspective, we are bearish. Okay. And on this 4 hour, we can see that price is giving us this downward structure like so. Price came up here. It didn't break this high, this lower high. We can see price will possibly, what I want to see is it come down to this imbalance down in this area here. Now on this particular pair last week, caught a 1 to 24 risk reward, which was amazing on this particular pair. It was almost pretty much textbook when we caught this trade as well. So when we come back over here, let's actually, I believe it's in the Discord. Let's see. I think I shared this particular trade. Yeah, here it is here. Yeah, this particular trade here, it was really, really good. It literally came up on a smaller time frame, gave us a break of structure, and I kind of caught it when it retested. And this thing really had a super meltdown. And so you can see my stop loss was really, really small. And this thing pretty much trickled down to no man's land. And pretty much my target was right here at this imbalance. And it just blasted through it. Okay. So let's go back over here and see what we're looking at for the week. So right now on gold, a couple of things that, we can notice is right now price is approaching this demand zone here. But for me, I anticipate price is going to break through this area because like I said, it's bearish. This is our directional trend here from a 1 hour perspective or even a 4 hour perspective. And I want to see price break through this and possibly hit this imbalance and then maybe come up and give us another lower high and we can kind of take it to the downside. So I'm going to go ahead and before I do that, we have a lot of unhealthy price action here. And so on a smaller time frame like the 15 minute, we can see that price have broken structure here. So price, it might come back up here and retest before it goes back down. We don't know. All right, we don't know. So let's just mark up what we can see, what the market is giving us. Okay, we have a supply right here, 15-minute supply. Okay, price can possibly come back up to that level or even this level for that fact before it goes down. All right, and then also we have this demand down here. So for me, I'm gonna set an alert when price gets down to this demand. Gold hits POI, no, 15-minute demand. All right, so make sure everybody gets that. All right, and so we can also put an alert here to say price approaching 15-minute supply. Gold approaching 15-minute supply. Okay. Okay, so either direction that it goes, we can be kind of mindful and ready as to where it's going, what it's going to do. I'm sorry, this is a 1 minute demand here, not 15 minute. I mean 1 hour. H1. All right, so that's pretty much what we're looking at on gold. We're bearish, and so if price can come back up here and give us a nice entry and then shoot down, we can see that, or even if it comes up to this area and continue down. But I'm looking for sales on ultimately looking for sales on gold. All right, so those are pretty much what we have for our pairs this week, you guys. We have some really good opportunities, but as for me, my main bread and butter that I'm going to be probably focused on is probably USD CAD and maybe AU. And of course gold as well. Gold is always my favorite pair, but USD CAD and AU would be some of the hot topics for this week. Okay. Hey, I don't see any pairs in the chat. And so I want to thank you guys for rocking with us as always. It's always a pleasure to share the analysis that I have for the week. If you guys have any questions throughout the week, please feel free to hit me up, and I'll definitely make sure that we're communicating with you guys to help everybody possibly get some profits. All right. So until then, I want to thank you guys for rocking with me, and I'll see y'all on the next one. All right. And I'll see y'all during the week. We out.